The average household in Arizona spent over $2,000 last year just on cooling, not heating, not electricity for appliances, just keeping the air inside the house at a livable temperature during summer. There is a structure that does that for free. It uses no electricity, no refrigerant, and no moving parts. It has been doing it in some of the hottest places on Earth for over 3,000 years. And every building code, every architect training program, and every contractor in the American Southwest has been built around the assumption that you will keep paying that $2,000 bill forever. This is the Build Guide. We build what they buried. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how a wind catcher works, why it has been absent from American construction while the rest of the world kept building them, and what it would actually cost to put one on a rammed earth home in Arizona, New Mexico, or Nevada, and what it would save you over the next 30 years. The number is going to change how you think about what you are paying for right now. The structure is called a wind catcher, and the best way to understand it is not to think of it as a ventilation system, but as a pressure machine. It is a tall tower, typically square in cross-section, that rises above the roofline of a building and opens to the prevailing wind. When wind hits the tower, it creates high pressure on the windward face and low pressure on the leeward face. Air always moves from high pressure toward low pressure, so it enters the windward opening, travels down the internal shaft, and flows into the living space below. The hot, stale air inside the building, pushed by that incoming pressure, moves toward the low-pressure leeward side and exits. Fresh air in, hot air out, powered entirely by the wind that was already blowing. There is a secondary mechanism called the stack effect, and it runs even when the wind is calm. Cool air is denser than warm air. Dense air sinks, warm air rises. The cooler incoming air from the tower settles into the living space while the warm interior air rises and exits through the leeward vents. The two mechanisms reinforce each other. On windy days, the pressure differential dominates. On still days, the stack effect takes over. Between them, the system runs continuously without a single kilowatt of electricity. And here is the detail that changes the economics entirely. A taller tower catches higher, stronger, and cooler air. And higher air is also generally less dusty, which matters in desert climates. Square cross-sections outperform round ones because the sharp corners create cleaner airflow separation. Modern versions add adjustable louvres or dampers that let you control airflow volume and shut the system down during sandstorms or periods of poor air quality. This is not a primitive system, it is a passive one. And those are very different things. So how long have people actually been using this? The earliest confirmed wind catchers date to ancient Egypt, around 1300 BCE. Pharaonic buildings in the Nile Delta were constructed with openings specifically oriented to the prevailing north wind to pull cool air through the structure during summer. Persian architects refined the design into the form still recognizable today, the Badgir. And by the medieval period, entire cities in the Iranian plateau were cooled by forests of wind towers rising above the rooflines. Yazd, a city in central Iran, still has hundreds of functioning wind catchers that have been cooling the same buildings for over 500 years. In the United Arab Emirates, the historic district of Al Fahidi in Dubai was built almost entirely around wind catchers. Before mechanical air conditioning arrived in the 1950s, those towers maintained interior temperatures 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit below the outside air during summer. The buildings are still standing. The towers still work. The temperatures inside them on a hot day are still dramatically lower than the air outside. The physics has not changed. The wind still blows. The pressure differential is still free. And in Phoenix, in Tucson, in Las Vegas, in Albuquerque, cities sitting in the same desert latitude range as Yazd and Dubai, not a single wind catcher has been built in the last century of residential construction. That is not a coincidence. That is a construction industry that built itself around a different answer. The physics is 3,000 years old, and it still works. What it does to a 30-year energy bill is the part the industry really does not want you to calculate. A rammed earth home in Arizona or New Mexico already eliminates most of the heating and cooling load through thermal mass. The walls absorb heat during the day and release it at night, keeping interior temperatures stable without mechanical assistance. Add a wind catcher to that structure, and you remove the remaining load almost entirely. You're combining two passive systems, one that manages stored heat and one that manages airflow. And together they cover the full cooling requirement of a desert home. The average Arizona household currently spends between $1,800 and $2,200 per year on cooling alone. Over a 30-year mortgage period, at conservative estimates and without accounting for rising energy prices, that is between $54,000 and $66,000 spent purely on air conditioning. A rammed earth home with a wind catcher eliminates that figure, not reduces it, eliminates it. The cooling cost from the day you move in is zero. The construction cost of adding a wind catcher to a new rammed earth built in the American Southwest runs between $4,000 and $12,000, depending on height, complexity, and whether dampers are included. Against $54,000 in avoided cooling costs over 30 years, that is a return on investment that no mechanical system on the market can match. You spend $10,000 once and save $60,000 over the life of the mortgage. And the wind catcher requires no maintenance contract, no refrigerant recharge, no compressor replacement, and no monthly bill. The only ongoing cost is occasional cleaning of the insect mesh at the intake opening. So why is nobody building these? The answer is not a law, and it is not a ban. It is something quieter and harder to fight. It is an assumption that was built into every part of the American construction system and never questioned. When mechanical air conditioning became widely available in the 1950s and 1960s, it did not replace passive cooling in a fair competition. It replaced the need to think about passive cooling at all. Building codes were written around ducted HVAC systems as the baseline. Architect training programs stopped teaching passive ventilation design. Building departments developed inspection processes based on mechanical systems. Contractors were certified in equipment installation, not airflow physics. The entire infrastructure of residential construction was reorganized around the assumption that cooling was a mechanical problem with a mechanical solution. And every subsequent generation of builders, designers, and code writers inherited that assumption without examining it. The International Residential Code, the document governing construction across most of the United States, has detailed provisions for HVAC system installation, ductwork sizing, and mechanical ventilation requirements. It has no provisions for passive wind catcher design, not because the technology was tested and rejected, because it was never submitted. There is no HVAC manufacturer with a financial incentive to fund the testing, certification, and code lobbying required to legitimize a system that generates zero ongoing revenue. The wind catcher was not buried by a decision. It was buried by an absence of one, by the slow accumulation of a construction culture that stopped asking whether there was a better way to cool a building and just assumed the answer came with a monthly electricity bill attached. The good news is that wind catchers are not complicated to build, and they are not restricted by any specific code provision. They fall under the same alternative materials and methods pathway that covers other passive systems, and in states like Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada, where owner-builder exemptions are active, nothing stops you from building one on your own property today. Building one in the American Southwest today is not complicated. The design simply needs a few adaptations for the local climate. The tower should be oriented to the prevailing summer wind direction for your specific site. In the American Southwest, this is typically from the south or southwest, and the height should be at least 10 feet above the roof line to access the stronger, cleaner air above ground-level dust and heat. Square cross-section towers with sharp corners outperform round ones in measured airflow tests. Insect mesh at the intake openings is essential in desert environments. For winter, adjustable dampers or louvres fitted at the intake openings solve the problem completely. You close them fully during cold months and the tower becomes inert. It draws nothing and loses nothing. Open them progressively as temperatures rise in spring, and the system comes back online without any mechanical intervention. This is the modern improvement that makes the wind catcher a genuine year-round asset rather than a seasonal feature. Combined with a rammed earth structure, the system is self-completing. The walls handle the thermal mass, the tower handles the airflow, and the building maintains a comfortable interior temperature through the full desert climate cycle without a single recurring energy cost. In Yazd, Iran, there are families living in buildings cooled by wind catchers that have been running since before America existed as a country. In Dubai, the same towers that cooled traders in the 15th century are still standing in Al Fahidi and still working. The technology did not fail. The technology was never given the chance to compete. In Phoenix, in Albuquerque, in Las Vegas. The wind blows every day. The pressure differential is free every day. The stack effect runs every day. The only thing missing is the tower. And the only reason the tower is missing is that the industry built around mechanical cooling never had any reason to tell you it was an option. The wind is already there. The physics has not changed in 3,000 years. The only thing that was ever missing was the tower. And the only reason the tower was missing is that the industry built around mechanical cooling never had any reason to build it for you. Next on the build guide, there is a roof design that has been keeping homes cool in the hottest climates on Earth for centuries. No insulation, no electricity, no cooling system of any kind. The cooling industry buried it for the same reason they buried the wind catcher. We are going to show you exactly how it works and why it disappeared from modern construction. That one is next. Subscribe and hit the bell. You will not want to miss that one.